Hi guys, I'm out here and today we are expecting the government to pass by here. An inspector, a lady, she wants to see if we treat our animals the right way, if they are taken care of, don't walk in mud and manure to the knees and all of that. I don't know how she will be about the camera filming. If she's okay with it, I'll film a little bit, or my wife, but if not, I'll just let you know how it went. Okay guys, she was here. We walked around the property. I wasn't able to film, but we looked at everything. Water, stables, winter stables, chickens, cows, geese, pigs, ducks, everything. And she found something, but it was a really good conversation, really good time. It went really well. You know, you never know what kind of person you're gonna get, but this was a very positive conversation, and I just want to share with you guys real quick what it was she pointed out, what we need to change a little bit, and then I also want to talk a little bit about, you know, the government and how that affects government agencies and a certain amount of government control, how that affects farming or homesteading. Just talk about that a little bit. You guys know that we live in Sweden, which is very different to many other countries, and want to talk a little bit about that. So it's raining, so I can't be outside there, but I hope you guys hear me. I hope it's not too loud with the rain and everything here. Anyway, right here behind me is where the cows were last winter and where the pigs are right now. Pigs were all good, chickens were all good. She was really interested. She had never seen the chicken tractors and this whole mobile system with moving the chickens and all of that, but she saw firsthand how well they're doing, how healthy. And obviously, you know, this is not like I'm showing around a customer who's like, oh, this is so cool, wow. But it's a government employed person that is supposed to, you know, look at it with a healthy perspective, hopefully both for me as the producer and government and consumer. But I was able to show her around. She really liked, I think, the way we do it with the chickens and all of that. She had nothing to say to that. She can just go after the measurements, and we're like way below that. You know, we've had people here say before, oh, you know, your chicken tractors, the chickens are so crowded, blah 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 blah. We have, like, when we have maxed it out, 70 birds in there, which we have only had once. Otherwise we have 50 to 60 birds. The industry uses almost 100 on that same area. That's the difference. So that was all good. But here behind me, where the cows were, where the pigs are now, pigs are fine, but the cows, this was not accepted for the winter habitat for the cows. And she says that the law says that you need to have 3 sides closed in and a roof over, so that the cows have at least 3 sides without wind there where they can be. Now this is a little bit tricky for me. I hope you guys can hear me. The water is really coming down. I hope it's not too loud. Let me go a little closer here. We'll pick you up a little bit like this. Anyway, so this is a little bit of a problem for us here, because yes, I can make a general stable where I want to have a roof over it, because I don't want the deep bedding to get wet and all the nutritions to be lost when they wash away by rain. I want to have a dry deep bedding system, definitely. But the problem is that we have to move them in the stable when the average temperature of a day is under 5 degrees 3 days in a row, 5 degrees Celsius. That is by definition when vegetation stops growing, when the grass is not growing anymore, and it's from that day on, and it's different every year, but it's from that day on that our cows will need to have access daily to this shelter. Now that is a problem for us because we want to be stock grazing, I believe it's called, our animals. This means since we don't let them out on one big pasture for the whole year, you know, since we don't do that, we actually can control and keep grass on certain paddocks, on certain pastures, even when it has stopped growing. Meaning, let's say November, we maybe have had a little snow here and there, and sometimes we get it in October, but let's say end of October, beginning of November, it's still not much snow, and maybe there was some, it melted away, but we have only half of the pasture eaten because we move them daily. The other half is still good, fresh grass. It's still going to be much better than hay at that time. I want to continue to move them daily and have them eat that grass, and the problem will be when they will then by law need to have access to the shelter, but when I move them daily they don't have that. But I was able to talk with her. She said I can even have a mobile shelter. I can build something kind of like a shade mobile that you even have to move now on really hot days. The cows need shade when they're in the middle of a field without trees and bushes. You know, we would build that. And then there's this netting that takes away 80 to 90% of all the wind. So if you can make that stable enough and sturdy enough, heavy enough so the wind won't blow it away, I believe that this is really the way we will go to accomplish this. Otherwise, it was good. There was I had noticed this the last days, because the cow went on the soft, deep bedding. Their hoofs were growing a bit long on one cow, and I will probably have to trim that. In order to prevent that in the future, I'm gonna pour a piece of some concrete on a maybe 5 by 5 meter area close to the shelter by the deep bedding where they can walk on, and then the concrete is really gonna rub off and keep their hoofs trimmed. So that's what we're gonna do. Otherwise, this will now have a follow-up. I will have to send them a picture by October where I can show them the shelter that we're going to build. I told her we're planning on building a cow shelter anyway. This was just temporary and so on. But otherwise it was all good. Many people, when they hear government control, they completely freak out. And when we started this channel, I did a video, you know, on homesteading in the most socialistic country in the world. Many people said, oh, it's beautiful where you are, but you know, what's going on there? I could never live there with the government control and all of that. And you know, I don't want to get too political, and you know, I believe that any political system really only works if the morals are right from the beginning. You can have democracy on any level, and if the morals are wrong, it doesn't matter what you have, you know, it's horrible. But I just want to say here real quick that you know, you can't say government control is bad in general. I believe that it's the government's job to keep their people safe, and you know, that's why the government controls crime, and why the government controls even certain food aspects. Now, I believe that we shouldn't trust the government blindly with food, for example. I believe that way more people should take food in their own hands and really make sure that what they eat is actually good for them, not have the government tell them, because you know, there's a lot of corruption even in capitalism. Doesn't matter, people are probably gonna hate me for this, but you know, socialism or capitalism, there, you know, you have money involved there, and companies who Monsanto is the influence they have, and on all different kinds of people, it's due to misuse of capitalism. And you know, they it's all about the money then, and who makes the most money, and you know, then the government tells you this is safe, but it's not really safe. You know, Roundup is not safe. And here in Germany, or in Europe, there was this big debate in Germany, but I think it's all in Europe, about Roundup and all of that. You know, oh, it's not bad. It's not cancer causing stuff, which I really believe it's really, really, really bad for you. So you know, the government tells you that. Don't trust the government in that. You know, do your own thinking. Don't become stupid, which there is a risk, especially in socialism, for people to really become stupid and just blindly trust the government. But you know, not all government control is bad. And you know, sometimes you just think, wow, they weren't thinking when they made these laws. This is really dumb. And I even had a conversation with this lady here. You know that sometimes they just say cows. They don't care if it's a Highland cattle that looks like a bison, or if it's like a naked modern milk cow. You know, that it's just cattle. You know, sometimes laws are weird and they don't hit it. But you know, I just want to say, wherever you live, there's going to be some kind of government control. And here comes, I've said this before, guys, you know, half of my family is American. I've experienced both. I've experienced Germany, I've experienced Sweden, I've experienced the United States. There is the same amount of government control in the States. Some of the laws with agriculture are even crazier than here, much crazier. Just check out Scholz-Salatin, everything I want to do is illegal. You know, SWAT teams hunting down pigs on farms and blah, blah, blah. Don't believe, you know, many people are like, oh, Sweden, government control. What I've experienced, you know, you have bad government control anywhere. You just need to work with it. And this is, you know, maybe some of you are tired of hearing me talk about Scholz-Salatin, but if there's one thing that I admire him the most for, it is his positive outlook and his refusal to give up, even though he gets so much resistance and has gotten so much resistance. He will not focus on the negative. He will not focus on the government trying to shut him down, but he will try to work with it and he will try to make it happen. And that is key for me. So wherever you live, you know, if Sweden doesn't work for you, don't live here. If the United States doesn't work for you, don't live there, you know. We don't have to be here and say Sweden is better, United States is better, Germany is better, you know, whatever. You can be passionate about your country as well. There are things I love of all of these countries and I dislike in all of these countries. But we make homesteading work here in Sweden. You see that on our channel. Others make it work in other countries. And I think it's about the attitude in most places. So guys, I hope I didn't put you to sleep with this talk. This was just the kind of day it was. The government came and inspected us and it went really well. So hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening and bearing with me. Bye bye.